Welcome back to our parent training series. We are now on Module 3. In this module, we will be providing an overview on general behavior management strategies. Before we begin, please remember the information in this parent training series is solely for educational purposes and should not be considered medical advice. You should use independent judgment and request references when considering any resource associated with the diagnosis or treatment of autism and its associated medical conditions. Let's start with a review from the previous module, which presented an introduction to applied behavior analysis. Antecedents occur prior to the behavior, and consequences occur after and are what controls the behavior. As we progress through the parent training series, it is important to always be thinking about the ABCs of behavior. We are able to change antecedents to promote desirable behaviors and consequences to produce changes in the behavior. However, before we know what to change, we need to know why the behavior is occurring. There are 4 causes of behavior discussed in detail during the last module: attention, tangible, escape, and automatic. Attention refers to behaviors that occur in order to gain attention from others. For example, crying to get someone to give me a hug. Tangible refers to behavior that occurs in order to gain access to a desired activity or object. For example, crying to get my brother to give me his toy. Escape refers to behavior that occurs in order to avoid engaging in an undesirable activity. For example, crying to avoid having to eat broccoli for dinner. And automatic, which is crying for no apparent reason. Determining antecedents and consequences is key for behavior change to occur. That is, if we want our child to stop crying and request appropriately what they need or want, we must first determine why they are crying. Only then will it be possible to teach an alternative appropriate behavior to replace that unwanted behavior. From the crying examples given a minute ago, you can see why it would be important to know why the child cries under different circumstances. In some instances, we may aim to teach the child to appropriately request hugs or toys from others, whereas in another instance, we may focus on providing rewards for alternative, incompatible behaviors. For instance, providing them with how to teach a song instead of crying. As a caregiver, we need to use this knowledge to our advantage. Today we will be talking about general behavior management strategies that will help you to use the ABCs of behavior to promote good behaviors and eliminate undesirable behaviors. In the SOS Help for Parents book by Lynn Clark, the author discusses 3 child-rearing rules for parents to follow. This book is a great resource if you are interested in reading more about this. They are to reward good behavior, don't accidentally reward bad behavior, and correct some bad behavior. We'll go over each of these in detail. The first rule is to reward good behavior. People will repeat behaviors that are rewarded. If you think back to the ABCs of behavior, if you're rewarding good behavior, you are changing the antecedent or the consequence of the behavior. You're right, you are changing the consequence. This allows you as a parent to provide a desirable reward when your child engages in good behavior. In turn, you will see that behavior occurs more often. What are some types of rewards you can give for good behavior? You can provide your child with attention, access to preferred activities, a break from an activity, or praise. It is extremely important to reward good behaviors. This sounds like a no-brainer, but sometimes it is a bit harder to remember than you might think. If your child is playing quietly by himself in his room, you might not want to disturb him, so you just let him play. However, this would be a great time to reward these good behaviors. Instead of waiting until your child starts to engage in an undesirable behavior, such as crying or throwing toys to interact with them, make sure that you provide attention when they are playing appropriately. In other words, make sure you catch them being good and let them know that you notice. It is also important to reward just okay behaviors. For example, if you ask your child to take out the trash and they do it, but they forget to put a new trash bag in the can, they did not complete the task to 100%. However, they did take the trash out. Therefore, you should reward this just okay behavior. It has been suggested that caregivers should provide about 10 to 20 positive rewards or interactions per hour. Keep in mind, rewards can be quick and small, such as a hug, a smile, or a quick good job. All of these little rewards help your child learn which behaviors they should repeat in the future. When you reward good behavior, you should deliver the reward as soon as possible. Rewards are most effective when they come right after the behavior and are less effective if they are delayed. A quick smile or a good job picking up your toys is all it takes. Also, when you are delivering rewards, be sure to frequently provide specific praise. Praise the behavior, not the child. For example, when your daughter picks up her toys, you should say something like, "You did a fantastic job picking up your Legos," instead of, "You are such a good girl." If you tell your child exactly what behavior you liked, they will know which behavior you want to see in the future. Sometimes you might need to teach your child a new good behavior. When you teach a new behavior, it is always a good idea to practice that new behavior with your child and reward that practice. For example, let's say your older daughter frequently snatches toys from your younger son, and you tell her repeatedly not to do that. You might want to teach her how to ask for the toy instead of snatching it. A good way to practice would be to hold onto some of her favorite toys and remind her to ask for them. Do this several times, and each time she asks nicely, be sure to give her the toy. Next time you see her go up to her little brother, remind her to ask nicely. If she does so, be sure to reward her for good asking, praise, and help her get the toy that she asked for. If your child knows the appropriate behavior, but is doing the bad behavior anyway, stop and redirect them to engage in the good behavior. If you see your older daughter snatch a toy, even though you have practiced her asking nicely, get the toy from her and give it back to her brother. Then ask her to ask for the toy nicely. If she does ask nicely, reward her nice asking. It may take lots of practice to learn the new good behavior, so don't despair if you have to continue to provide prompts and reminders. Now let's watch a video of rewarding good behavior.
Ava, thank you so much for helping out with the groceries.
You're welcome.
Let me help you finish this. Can you put those away? Thank you.
As you just saw in the video, the girl is putting away groceries. Her mom comes in and praises her for helping her put them away, and then continues to help the girl finish the chore. This is a great example of rewarding good behavior. Let's do a couple active parent responding questions.